not a guy who wants to destroy a man's life, suing him for verifiable repeated attempts at libel. But at this point, what choice did I have? Hi, Professor. So this March I performed a show at SMU, and this UT Arlington professor of logic posted a call to action demanding people call the school and get it canceled due to me being a, quote, alt-right neo-Nazi. As evidence of my Nazi views, he posted completely fabricated tweets. I immediately had my half-Asian lawyer, Bill Richmond, officially request a retraction, but he didn't. This professor of logic just went on continuing with the false claims, non-stop, publicly, to his students, including that I sent neo-Nazis to his house and that I personally made death threats against him and his family myself. Only when I called the campus police to verify the veracity of the claims.
Hey, Detective Lee, this is StevenCrowder.
As far as I can see, there's no offense. There's, nothing of that nature.
Okay. So considering this teacher of logic was teaching slander and libel to his students to prevent anyone here from making a living, we alerted the UT Arlington dean.
Refer you, Mr. Crowder, to either our university attorney.
Not only did the school do nothing, they went out of their way to support Professor. Now, keep in mind, this professor has also publicly protested and harassed conservative students. I'm fortunate enough to have a platform, but it's scary to think that if this man does this publicly, how is he treating his own conservative students behind closed doors? I'm not a guy who wants to destroy a man's life, suing him for verifiable repeated attempts at libel. But at this point, what choice did I have? Hi, Professor. What attacks on you? What attacks on you?
His followers went online.
What attacks did I post on you?
They started putting death threats to my son.
Yes. You said I threatened your son.
When my son was receiving death threats.
By the way, for the record, I would never, ever threaten violence. I don't believe in violence. Unlike some of the calls you made online, I would never threaten anybody with violence. I just want to make sure that me and my staff are able
My
to
son
continue to
received
make
death
a
threats
living.
from this man.
Is that
Is that a crime, by the way, threatening to kill someone's son and also calling for genocide?
In at least 48 states.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
So
I don't want to visit the two.
yeah.
I sent death threats to your son?
To get me fired. This man's lawyer has put
When did I
threats
call
to me.
death threats to your son?
What I really hope is that in the future, what you will do is stop putting death threats against me and my friends.
Which death threats? Where?
You've also put threats.
What death
against-
threats? When did I ever threaten you, your students, anyone here? Your son? When? What proof do you have? That's a big claim.
How about your Facebook post?
Right now I threatened you to death?
You put the schedule of your...
When did I threaten anybody with violence? Because I actually advocate against it. Right now, please, no violence. So do you admit that that's not true? Do you admit that I never said those things?
No, that's what you said.
This is the guy teaching you logic and how to deal with truth. This is important. Here's the thing. He's been invited for an open forum debate repeatedly and has declined it. He has falsely libeled and slandered not only me but members of my team repeatedly, and he has told you, his students, something that is not true. You posted this on your Facebook page saying Steven Crowder posted this.
Did these come from the Daily
Did
Star?
I ever say these things? Don't touch that guy. Did I ever say these things? I've never issued a threat, but you have. Who gives a Well, you know what? You know why? Because it's how I make a living, and truth matters. You're in a class where you're supposed to learn about truth. I love how they shut off the lights.
Yeah.
When we were in there. That to me was just so. It was so emblematic of the level.
Oh, yeah.
I was born in the dark, haunted by it. Charles Hermes didn't see the light until he was a man. But what if I were to just spread a rumor that, for example, he were having a relationship with you, or you, I have no idea, to get you fired? Would that be okay as long as I didn't like you?
It is something your followers have done. It is something your followers have done.
I have never done that. So when did I threaten
I'll see
anybody?
you guys next class.
When did I threaten anybody? When have I ever issued a threat of violence to anyone? You said that I issued a death threat to your son. Family, it's not true.
Your followers have said
No, you didn't. You didn't. We have the screenshots. You said I did it myself. That's
I didn't
a lie.
say those threats. I said
That's
the
a
threats
lie.
against my
What
son.
threats from me, period? Any threats from me? When have I ever said anything to be called a neo-Nazi, ever? Give me one justification. Nice try to trip, little coward.
These people have disrupted my classroom. I'm kind of curious what the university can do about it.
That's correct, we did. But the school has done nothing.
Well, I can...
Could we show you, if you could take one moment to look at this, I think if you saw how horrifying it is. He said I threatened to kill his family and his son. Right here it says, I've had enough of you little gay cartoon boys. You degenerate fucks are going in the oven with the kites. We can discuss it at a neutral meeting place.
I'm not discussing with people who have made threats against my son, whose followers made threats against my son.
Class where he's teaching.
Yes, I did.
Cause a disruption.
I did cause it, yeah, I would call it that.
Sure as night follows day, after we filmed this video, we sat back and waited for Charles Hermes to do what he does.
lie. Keep this in mind. If I don't have this show, if I'm someone like you, and this person makes these claims, and people believe it, you don't have a job. You never work again. Your reputation is ruined forever.
First off, what's the difference libel and slander for people who don't know? In this case, it's both.
So we talked about this in the Barely Legal, but the libel part is going to be the written part, and slander is going to be anything that's done verbally.
With slander, with libel, you were talking about this, it's about damages.
So it can be. There are certain types of defamation that require damages. There are certain types of defamation that do not. They're defamation per se, or certain types of defamation that would only have nominal damages. And so...
By the way, hold on a second. That was a legal term when he said definition per se. It wasn't like a basketball player. Like, there are different kinds of, like, defamation per se. Like that's an actual term. It sounded redundant. That's
he's really a lawyer.
If I weren't me, and I don't say that to sound arrogant, but if this weren't the Louder with Crowder show, I never work again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
It's
Someone
very
just runs
true.
a search to hire me and says, "Oh, you called for the gassing of Jews. You threatened to kill a man's son." Well, I'm not gonna take this risk.